Ethan Walker had spent years building his dream property in the quiet mountains of Tennessee. The private steel bridge wasn't just convenient. It was legally permitted and built entirely on his own land. Every morning, he crossed it with a sense of pride. He never imagined someone would demand it be destroyed. The bridge connected Ethan's cabin to the county road. Without it, reaching his property would require miles of rough backcountry travel. It had been standing safely for years. Neighbors often admired its craftsmanship. A newly built luxury HOA neighborhood overlooked the valley. Its president, Melissa Harper, disliked one thing about the landscape. She believed Ethan's bridge ruined the expensive view residents had paid for. Instead of speaking politely, she decided to make demands. Melissa gathered several HOA board members outside the clubhouse. She insisted the bridge lowered property values. Some members looked uncertain. Others simply followed her lead. The next morning, Melissa arrived without an invitation. She walked directly onto Ethan's property. With complete confidence, she announced the bridge had to come down. Ethan listened quietly before answering. Melissa claimed the HOA had authority over the area. She ordered Ethan to remove the bridge immediately. Ethan calmly asked her to show any legal document proving that claim. She had none. Ethan showed Melissa copies of his land survey. The documents clearly proved the bridge sat entirely on private land. Melissa refused to even look at them. She insisted the HOA would handle it anyway. A few days later, heavy construction equipment appeared near the bridge. Melissa had contacted a demolition contractor. She acted as though she already owned the property. Ethan immediately realized the situation had become serious. Before any work could begin, a sheriff's deputy arrived. Deputy Mark Collins had received reports of a property dispute. He asked both sides to present their documents. The atmosphere quickly became tense. Mark carefully compared county property records with Ethan's survey. Every document pointed to the same conclusion. The bridge belonged entirely to Ethan. Melissa's expression slowly shifted from confidence to frustration. Melissa refused to accept the sheriff's findings. She argued that the bridge spoiled the neighborhood's scenic value. Deputy Collins reminded her that personal opinions couldn't override property rights. The crowd quietly watched the disagreement unfold. Ethan calmly produced another folder from his truck. Inside were engineering permits, inspection reports, and county approvals. Every page confirmed the bridge had been legally built years earlier. Melissa suddenly realized this wasn't going to be an easy fight. The deputy requested a quick visual inspection to ensure public safety. The bridge appeared solid, well-maintained, and professionally constructed. There were no signs of damage or code violations. Melissa's main complaint remained that it blocked part of the view. As Ethan returned home, Melissa made several phone calls. She refused to let the issue end there. Instead of accepting the legal decision, she searched for another way to force the bridge's removal. Her determination only grew stronger. That evening, Melissa quietly met with a demolition contractor. She believed persistence would eventually get the bridge removed. What she didn't know was that every decision she made was creating a trail of evidence. The costly consequences were only beginning. Ethan decided to prepare instead of arguing. He reviewed footage from the security cameras installed around his property. If anyone crossed the line, every moment would be documented. Evidence would speak louder than emotions. The following afternoon, Melissa returned with demolition company representatives. She confidently introduced herself as the person handling the project. The contractors listened carefully before asking an important question. They wanted proof that she had legal authority. Ethan walked over with every document neatly organized. He politely informed contractors that the bridge was private property. The representatives immediately paused the discussion. No one wanted to authorize unlawful work. The supervisor carefully reviewed the county paperwork. Everything clearly identified Ethan as the legal owner. Melissa insisted the HOA had final authority. The supervisor wasn't convinced. Without written authorization, the company refused to begin any work. The excavator was powered down. Melissa couldn't believe they were leaving. Her frustration became impossible to hide. That evening, Melissa called an emergency HOA board meeting. She blamed Ethan for embarrassing the association. Some board members questioned whether the dispute was worth continuing. Others remained silent. One board member carefully studied the county maps. The bridge clearly stood outside HOA boundaries. Several members became visibly uncomfortable. Melissa refused to change her position. Ethan scheduled a meeting with his attorney. Rather than reacting emotionally, he wanted professional guidance. The lawyer reviewed every document carefully. He recommended keeping detailed records of every interaction. The attorney explained that strong documentation often decides property disputes. Fortunately, Ethan had preserved every permit and receipt. Nothing had been overlooked. Preparation was becoming his greatest advantage. Melissa organized another gathering for residents. She argued the bridge ruined the community's beautiful landscape. Some neighbors nodded politely. Others privately wondered why the issue mattered so much. As conversation spread, opinions began to change. Many residents had never spoken with Ethan. They started asking whether the bridge had ever caused real problems. The answer surprised them. Several neighbors visited Ethan respectfully. He welcomed every question without raising his voice. They quickly realized he had always acted reasonably. Their impressions began to change. Ethan shared photos taken during the bridge's construction years earlier. Every stage had been inspected and approved. The visitors appreciated his openness. Rumors slowly began to disappear. A certified letter arrived the next morning. Melissa immediately recognized it as official legal correspondence. The dispute had entered a new phase. Ignoring it would no longer be possible. The letter explained that Ethan intended to protect his property rights through legal channels. It also requested that any unauthorized interference stop immediately. The room fell unusually quiet.